Hello everyone, this is the second episode of Conversation series. How did you feel when you started your first school in Kenya? I felt like everything was uncomfortable. When you were in Kenya, have you gone to other schools? Yes, I've gone to other schools. So this school. Hello everyone, this is Mustafa Abdurrahman, Mr. MA4. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to the second episode of Conversation series. In this series, we're gonna have our second conversation with my special guest. I just wanna say that in this video we're gonna talk about three different topics. We're gonna talk about the school in Kenya, about the first school, and whether you moved to other schools as well, and what have you done at break time as well, and what you did you used to eat at lunchtime while in the school. Okay, first question here would be what was your feeling when you started your first school in Kenya? Can you just explain to us, just give a little bit detail, or don't make too much detail about it, but just give us in summary. So I think the previous video we've talked about how we came to Kenya, or the opening chapter when I arrived in Kenya and when we rented the house. So what was my first school? My first school was I studied Madrasah. That was the first one. We studied the Quran. We studied like some Islamic studies there, but mostly Quran. We would memorize them. And when I joined there the first day, I felt like everything was uncomfortable. Just like when I visited the second day when I came to Kenya to see my neighbors where they used to study. Even my neighbors were from Sweden, so I had one of my neighbors used to study with me in that school, like that. Where we studied the Quran, and I used to speak Swedish, and other friends, other my classmates or friends, they even used to ask me some question about how do you say this in Swedish? How do you say like I'm fine in Swedish? How do you say like how are you in Swedish? And yeah, I used to speak to my neighbors in Swedish most of the time. And we used to also teach others. We used to even tell about others how this we call them in Swedish, and sometimes even they ask myself. Even I think that teacher in the madrasa where we learned the Quran, he used to even ask something in Swedish as well. So yeah, I was thinking the first day when I joined that school, I didn't know that was the school that I would be joining. My dad was like, okay, it's a school, but you guys are going to be in the section where you study the Quran, where you're going to study the Quran and you're going to memorize them. So I didn't know where it was exactly. So we went there, and I realized, whoa, that was a school that I've seen this before. Wow, I was like, I felt like uncomfortable to study, because the first day I felt uncomfortable, I felt bored. But then as I went there, I started to complain to the teachers. I like, I want to leave this school, I don't want to be here. And then I think in the middle of the class, I think they called my dad. I've talked to my dad. My dad was like, no, this is the first day. The first day, it's always like that. You won't be comfortable. You feel uncomfortable. You're not okay with it. But just give like 2-3 weeks. You're gonna feel you're gonna be comfortable, because you start to get used to it. Everything gets new, and then when it gets new after like 2-3 months, 2-3 weeks, I mean, everything will be okay. So after like 2-3 weeks, everything was okay. I never complained. I never felt bored. I was like, I'm very happy. I feel comfortable, and now I can talk to my classmates, my friends, or my neighbor that I used to speak with him sometimes in Swedish as well. So, but I haven't seen him in Sweden while I was in Sweden. So that was like the first school. So I think I've answered your question. Thank you very much, Mr. Mifo. We would like to have the second question I would like to ask you about is what would you do? What would you eat at lunchtime at school? Would you eat lunchtime? Is there like a specific timetable that you guys will eat? And is it like someone that's gonna come, whether your parent or your uncle or your brother or your sister would come and come to you, give you a lunch at there, and then they're gonna go after you finish eating? Or it's like you guys can go home to eat lunch, and then you guys will come back to school? So just explain to us, what was your first school like? How's the lunch? I think one of my dad or the one that comes to my house and eats, or that cooks for us, or like or clean our room and wash our utensils. She might be there. She's just a lady that comes and does for us the food, lunch, and the dinner. And then she comes to us for the lunch at school. She's gonna give us in our school. There's like a canteen there that you're gonna eat, and someone's gonna come for you and eat, whether it's your parent, your uncle, or anyone that comes. Sometimes even my dad, he would come and give us food, and then he would leave. But most of the time it was like the one that comes and eats, and the one that cleans our room, and the one that works in our house. And yeah, especially on Friday, because my dad has to go to the Friday prayer, so she would be there, and she would give us lunch, and then once we're done eating our lunch, she would go back to her house and clean and everything, and then we're gonna sleep. After the lunch we have to sleep, not that we can make stories or have a break. As soon as we eat our lunch, the rule was like you have to sleep immediately. Yeah, you sleep, like you take a nap like 10 or 15 minutes, and then after that, when you take a nap, the teacher will call us, okay, wake up guys, now it's time for class, and then we start our class, and then that's the end. After that, we pray Asr, then we go home. Especially mainly on Thursday, like on Thursdays or Friday, maybe Thursday or Friday, we have like after some few lessons, we're gonna play out, we're gonna play football, or they usually have they have footballs, and that's the only thing they usually have. But sometimes even I used to get I used to be in somewhere inside, not in a class, but there's a place where you can sit, and then it's inside a building. If that was like my break time, or like the time when you have to play, like on Thursday, Friday, before before we start praying, and then we go home. So yeah, that was the thing. That was like the first year. That was my first school. So I think I have answered your question. You explained to me that you started your first school was you started to study the Quran, and you studied Islamic studies, and with the teacher, and as you explained that the teachers was so strict, and you said you felt like the first day, I don't want to go to this school, I want to leave, I want to get back to home. And I think that's the time when you called your dad, and then I think your father talked to you about the school. This is just new right now, so after like some days, after a week, I mean, you get used to it, so everything will be okay. And that's how it was like the first thing, you don't feel okay, you don't feel comfortable, but after like 2 weeks, you get used to it, and you feel comfortable. So did you study other schools as well? Did you leave that school and started like school? Did you study like math, English, and chemistry, or physics, bio, or geography, history, or whatever it is? So can you just tell us about it? Yes, I've gone to other school. So this school, like where I study the Quran, I've been there for 2 years, 2018, 2019. However, in 2020, because of the coronavirus took place, and everything has to be, the school has shut down, and everything was locked down. Everything, the school has been closed, the airport has been closed, and many of the shops have been closed only for a short period of time, like maybe 2-3 hours, but at night time they would close. And yeah, everything was like that. And if you want to go outside, you have to go out with mask. That was like the rule, because of the coronavirus, just to protect ourselves from the corona. And you have to take a mask, as you know. And you have to, like, we used to whenever a teacher would come to our home, we would give him a soap, and then they would wash their hands, and sometimes we might give a sanitizer, just protect ourselves from getting that disease. So that time we did online classes. But after that year, like 2021, almost like almost the whole year of 2020, almost starting from March until December, we didn't go to school. Then on January, that's when we started our school. Then I started a new school, as you know. And then in 2022, I started another school, and then I started another school, I think in 2024, and then I continued from here. So yeah, I think I've answered your question. And also, before we end the video, I just want to ask, how long was your school? Is it like part-time or full-time? Was it like half of the day you study like for 6 hours, or you have to study like 9 or 10 hours in the school? Like when you start in the morning, you have to start like 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. That's when your class will start, and ends like at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. or maybe like 12 p.m. Somewhere there. Is it like half day or full day? The school usually, the first school would be like I think approximately like 9 to 10 hours. So we started from 7 until maybe at 4:30, somewhere there. That's like almost 10 hours you would study. And the second school that I began was almost the same thing, but I would leave like at 3 o'clock. So it starts from 7 up to 3 o'clock. That's almost like 10 hours, or maybe like 9 hours. And then when I started the new school, that it's almost the same hour would be. And then when I started this new school that recently, like in 2024, it's just a part time, you know, from 8 a.m. It's like 4 hours from 8 a.m. up to 12:30. So I think 4 hours and 30 minutes probably. Yeah. So I think I've answered your questions. Also, I studied math, English, and other subjects when I started those new school. I think in 2002. I started like normal subjects. You guys know English, math, chemistry, bio, physics, geography, history, and the like. So these are the ones that I started to study. And when I was used to study at the school where I studied the Quran, I had a tuition teacher that would come to my house and teach me English, teach me chemistry, teach me math. Maybe not chemistry. They usually call it science at that time. So like I was like in the junior section. So like he would teach me math, English. He would teach me science. So these are the main subject I would take. So I think I answered your question. Thank you very much. This is the end of the video. So I'm very happy that I interviewed my special guest here. We had a great conversation. And in this next video, the third video, we might have a new person that I know. Maybe we might plan and everything what is gonna be about. So I'm gonna inform you guys in the short. You guys will see how it to be about. So the third video, I think we're still planning. It might take us a while. It will take a time for me to release them. So that's what I just want to tell you guys. So like, subscribe, and see you guys